Hi, I'm Devery Bess, and I'll be the host at Genderbender March 20th. And I'm gonna take you from being like this to this. Oh yeah. I think it's on. Excellent. So I'm going to start off with foundation. So pretty much what we do in drag, you want to make yourself have a basic starting point. So you usually take foundation, and using that foundation, I create already a kind of texture to my face because I just like to do that because then I have less work to do later. Let's make it easy. So this is how we start. There you go. Ooh. So usually what I do is I take a lighter foundation and I apply it to the places where I'm going to have highlight in my face. So for me, that's the nose, the eyebrow, a little bit up here to try and give myself more of a square complexion. Can I do this without seeing? Yeah. I give it on the jawline here. A little bit in the mirror right here, where my mustache is gonna go. A little bit at the bottom to give my chin a little more pronounced. That wasn't too bad. Put a little bit on the inside thing, because pretty much what I'm doing is I'm trying to create the texture that certain places, like the light's hitting my face. So I use the lighter foundation to do that because I'm lazy. Then I take my kind of like closer to my skin and I just kind of fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. And then I take my darker foundation and I do where it'll be sunken in. So pretty much where there's shadows in your face. So that usually goes around here, little side. Some up here, because I want to square out my forehead later. And then I just kind of take my sponge and kind of like mix it all together, and hopefully it creates a kind of like thing. And how I do it is I kind of like dab. I also look myself in the mirror a lot because I'm checking to make sure I still look hot, and not there yet, but soon. Okay, next. So I take one of the lighter colors. I kind of accentuate some of the places that I want to have more defined, kind of like contouring stuff. So I put around the nose. Boom. Boom. And then I bring it over into the eye. I'm like, oh yeah, Are you looking? Cool. We go back up here, give some more squaring out this little forehead of mine. So this round beautifulness, it's gonna be more square. And I usually bring it a little into the little white part here, so it gives more, like the eyebrow, like my eyebrow thing is protruding. I usually also take the same color that I'm doing and I bring it down between my eyebrows, so it kind of like that, and I do it on both sides. And then there's like the little temple area. And I just kind of, going. And so like with this lighter color, I usually am a little more messy. I like spread it out a little more, just so I can give a little more depth to my face. And then later on, I go in with something that will be a little more, on point. Make faces, enjoy yourself, feel your oats. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So then I go in with this to give a more defined look. So for stage, so in this, when I add the darker, for one, it's more for stage, so that like when you're on stage and performing, the lights don't like bleed you out, so you don't just like, your face looks like you did nothing to it. So like adding this contour is really good because on stage, there's a high likelihood that you can get like washed out because of the white lights. So sometimes putting like really extreme contour and all those things will help for being on stage and being seen on stage and having your face look more masculine presenting while your face is being washed out by those lights. So I usually take this little dark and this little pen. This one's supposed to be a mini flat smudger. That's what it says on the brush. And I just kind of like define the places where I already put dark in. Make it a little more dark. And more accented. And I just like kind of smudge it with my finger. Just a little bit. You really want to make sure that you square out your face. So when you're putting on stuff, to make it more blocky, unlike queens and like more feminine presenting stuff, you wanted to make your face look more round. You want to really square out your face and make it more blocky. From here, I personally like to go in with a little bit of white and give a couple places of like highlight in a sense. I don't know, but a couple places that are a little more lighter than the rest of their face. So I usually go for the nose, right by the eyebrow, because I want to make sure my eyebrows look really pronounced. And I really like that. And a bit on my forehead on the sides so that my forehead looks more pronounced and square, as well as the upper parts of my jaw, and a bit of the inside just to give a more of a squared out look. And then you're good. Just ready to go on stage, just like this. What do I need? A little bit of white underneath my eyes. Putting a little bit of white underneath the eye helps the eye look bigger on stage. So when I go on stage and all that stuff, it just seems bigger when I'm like being expressive and all that stuff. And then I just like smudge a little bit, just a little bit. I've loved finger painting. That is why I use my fingers all the time, because I'm that kid who loves finger painting. On that note. Next! Actually, let's use this. That's not even the right one. Here we go. So I use, for my facial hair, there's lots of ways of doing facial hair. You're getting the Devery look, so you're getting Devery's facial hair. So I have a water-based, like makeup. I like using theatrical makeup because it is, I don't know, my jam. That's what I grew up on. I went to theater and did all that bullshit. And yeah, I just like theater makeup and the cake based and all that stuff. So I have this thing, it's Wolf Black, and I use it for my facial hair because one, it's water based and it doesn't sweat off. Well, like it doesn't sweat off. It doesn't like smudge off as easily, but it does sweat off very easily. But I don't sweat much, so it's fine. I already have layers of makeup, so the sweat's not gonna be trapped in there, so I can have a bunch of pimples later. So pretty much as a drag king, off of that rant, as a drag king, you want your eyebrows to be more pronounced. So I usually just make them bigger. So I start from where they start, and I go a little bit lower, and I try to give them a more full look. And then I take a smaller brush and I try to create hair, like it looking more like hair. So I do like small strands to give the illusion that it's hair rather than makeup. And now I have to just try and make the other one look the same, which never happens, let's be real. They usually look like third cousins, so I just, doesn't usually come out looking anything alike. Oh no! It's fine. I used to do these eyebrows that were like just like thick pieces of like garbage, because one of my favorite drag kings has like these really thick eyebrows that are like, they look like sperm but on your face. So I did that for a while, and then I was like, you know what, maybe I should change this aesthetic, because I definitely kept getting people being like, your eyebrows look funny. I'm like, no, they're supposed to look like this. Anyways, and then the queens would just take over and do my eyebrows. I'm like, no, it was on purpose. So after this debacle, you can do the same thing with facial hair. So I just do the same thing. I just kind of like use my strokes to create hair. I'll do a little bit underneath here. Not enough to notice, but just enough for me. So that when I make out with people, I'll get all the black all over them. And if you ever want that 5 o'clock shadow look, I honestly, this is all I use. So I add water, and then I just kind of like feel up that makeup, and I just kind of hit my face with it. I bet I can just like, oh yeah, look at that. I like to do the chin strap because it makes me have to do less work, because as we said earlier, I'm lazy. The chin strap helps you create a more squared face. So it like, instead of having to actually square out your face with contour, you could just put on a beard and not have to square it out. Tips with Devery. I do have to say, like, this is gonna be a relaxed one. Like, they're just growing in. But if you want more of like a not a realistic beard, but like, if you want a beard that's more more textured, you might want to use different different colorings. So for instance, I'll use a little bit of white. And just add a little bit of white with the thing. Usually I use brown, white, and black, but I don't have brown with me, so we're just gonna use white and black. And it gives more of a texture to your beard. And this is the Devery look. And this is the finished look. You can find me at Devery Bess, D-E-Very, so D-E-V-E-R-Y, B-E-S-S, Drag King, D-R-A-G-K-I-N-G. Is that my dyslexia kicking in? You can find me there at those places on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I have a page, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So I'm gonna be here hosting March 20th at MRU, the hub, just here. It's gonna be a great time. Devery Bess, and it's a promise.